Welcome back to Themed Journals. My name is April. Okay, so I got all of these punched and put in, and put these in as well. I don't know if you were here with me when I did that. And then I started decorating. I've done flaps. First time I've done flaps. First time I've worked with magnets. So there's magnets in here. I've done the cover for the notepad. I haven't put anything in because I'm going to stitch them in. I've done the bookmark or tag, whichever way you want to call it. And this goes over here. Then I've got altered playing cards, which I think I'm going to stitch up with dark green thread eventually. And then I put a little extra bling in there for them, for whoever buys it. And little pockets, just tuck them into. And then on this side, I did mini tags. I did a small little mini tag. And then, as you can see, I did a little mini tag. All right, so that's what I've been doing. Let me just run you through this. So they're all, you know, oops, sorry, didn't mean to kick you guys. Yeah, I'm standing up, so that's why I kicked you guys. So like I've picked out some bling for the spine jewelry. I'll show you. One has all the spine jewelry with them, so you can see the different tags I've done, or altered playing cards and tag. Yeah. Now this is the one where I'm keeping this one, so I put the bling on this one. Okay, so we are going to start from scratch. And what I've done is I've prepared one, because up to a certain point you can work with these, and then you have to let the magnets dry in the glue. Otherwise it causes huge problems. So we're going to do one up to that point, and then what I've done is I've brought this one up to that point. And see, not all of the glue went down. See that? Ugh. Ugh. All right, let's get the glue back on here, and hopefully it'll dry quick enough so that we can continue with this journey today. We're going to see. Okay, so I'm going to put this to the side, and hopefully it'll be dry enough when we get this done. Okay, so I made a template right here, and then you just stick them under here. All right, now what I've developed is I've cut these down to size. These are my glue sheets. I cut some down to fit this, so I could get it right here, and I could put it on this side, and the glue from the flip, I don't know what you call this, the hinge doesn't get underneath the book. All right, there. Okay, now this is my template. So I've got cardstock, and what I do is I take two measurements. The first one is the score, and you have to line it up exactly with that edge. You don't want to go any further this way. And then I make a little mark down here where I'm supposed to cut down here. All right, and I make two of these. And then this is the template, and I don't use the template. It'll go eventually in my template folder. Let's take off the bottom first. Okay. Now I know from doing this many times that the second line is the cut line. So this is the cut line right here. You line that up at the top, then you cut. All right. Then you flip this around, and then you line up the first little mark on the flap, and there we go. And I run my scorer up and down that a couple of times, and then we're done. Now, some of you will probably want to know what the measurements are. So from here to here, now you can make this so that the flip, let me get it. Now you can make this longer. From here to here, I've made it 2 and 2 ticks. 3 ticks. Now you could take this all the way out, flap all the way out here and make it 4 inches. Now remember, if it's 4 inches, then you need to go another 1/2 inch for the hinge. So let's just go with what I'm doing. So this is 2.5 plus 1 tick, and the hinge is an extra 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1/2 inch. All right, and then after that, I just spot check it, you know, on here. So I pull it down a little bit, and I make the same marks. All right, and then once you cut off the bottom, it's a perfect, you only have to do the slicing once on this one. Now, since I'm already have the score lined up for this end, I might as well do the score line first and then flip it around for the cut. All right. And there we have it. Okay, so we're done with this cutting and flipping. And then what I do is I put my template on top of the next set of that we're going to do. Next dust jacket that we're going to do. Now, I didn't get that quite the same length up and down, but it happens. It shouldn't affect the hinging part. All right, here we go. Now, what I do is I get out my handy dandy little archival ink, and I make a border. This is the part where you measure, not measure. And if you make it your stroke and diagonal of your dauber the same every time, then it's a good measurement for your inner piece, your inner stationary piece. There we go. That goes in here. Yep. Then I flip the hinge, and then I do this side, doing it on both sides. Okay, then you do it the same thing on the second flap. Well, I guess we'll go up here and then come around. And if it goes over a little bit more, then it's okay, no big deal. Remember, this is handmade, and every handmade piece is slightly different, simply because your stroke isn't exactly the same, or, you know, you had to cover a goof, or, you know, whatever. Okay, now we flip it this way, and we do it all over again. And if you want to speed up through this, I won't be offended. I have some people who watch the channel who tell me that they appreciate I don't do double speed while I'm demonstrating. I know everybody knows how to use a dauber and ink, but remember, this is a themed journal journey, not a tutorial per se. I mean, I do show you what I do, but I don't say this is step 1, step 2, blah, blah, blah. I just take you along on the journey. Okay. Now, let's see. See, now this is too small. That's okay. All this is too small. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, all right, see that edge where the green is right here? That's your border. All right. So what I do now is I show at the bottom where that border is, and then I put a mark here, and then I do a mark up here along that border, and that's where I cut. All right. Now I'm going to cut along the bottom first. No, we're not scoring it, April. Everything's decided to go flying all of a sudden. Drive me cuckoo. All right. Now, back to what I was doing. All right, now we're gonna do the long strip. Now, let's see if this is too small or too big. Okay, so it's too big. So what I'm going to do is make another little mark here, and that's the one we're going to chop off. There. Oops, sorry, I hit you guys again. My bad. All right, so now we have 2 of the same size, and there we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and get out the another sheet of the same stuff, so that I can, here we go, do the second 2 for the second flap. All right. What I do for this one, oops, let's get this down on my lap. All right, I keep this like this. Then I put the other one here, and I just make a mark here, and I make a mark down at the bottom of it, and then I do this strip first, so that all the other pieces, I don't have to do the extra cut. All right. And then I get out my little scissors and I give this a little snip. And we'll use that for other stuff. All right, then I make a quarter turn, and then I go ahead and get this little thing going. Right about there, okay. And then I measure the same way. And this time, see, because I cut off the bottom, it's a perfect match for the length. All I have to do is do one little right here, and then I cut that. All right. And then I put this one off to the side. Okay. Now, got your glue mat, because you don't want the glue anywhere on your dust jacket. All right, so you get your permanent, I use permanent Scotch glue stick. I prefer the yellow, but they're selling those for like $8 for one. They used to sell them for like $8 for four. So I get this particular Scotch glue stick now. It's permanent. I don't think it works as good as the other one, but you know. Okay. And by the time I get, yeah, you guessed it, my glue is all dry. Now, sometimes these go down straight away and they're perfect. Other times you're like, eek, that's horrible. And then you're pulling it up and you're trying to put it down and ugh. Let's see. And then it goes crooked. So it looks like I may have to do it from, all right, let's see. All right, that's good enough. Sometimes you just have to say, okay, even if it is crooked, I don't care. And that's how it rolls, or else I'll be here redoing it every single day. Then if it doesn't settle right, I just redo it and I make sure that there's a distinct green edge around the white. Sometimes most of the time you don't have to do this, but every once in a while, like with this one, it's a irksome cut. Okay, so we're done with that side. Now this is directional. See, the flowers are on top of the vine, so we have to make sure that when we flip it over, this one goes down like this, or else they'll be like opposite, and that drives me nuts. So we don't want that. All right. All right. Now, up, up. Okay. These are a little bit too big, man. Just one end. All right. So, anyway, we'll just do a little re-inking and call it a day. All right. Okay. Now maybe the next panel flip thing won't be so difficult to do. Okay, so we want these going in the same direction. The flowers anyway. All right, now all right, let me think. This one is going to go on this side, so that means this one's going to go on this side, so this one has, this is the up section. All right. right. And then this will be the flip, and we need these up again. Oh, wait a minute. Did I do this wrong? Oh, I did. Oh, shoot. All right. Since I just put this one down, we're going to try to salvage this. All right. I lied. This is this side. That means this side, this is the top. All right. Try this again. I'm glad I caught that. This is the punishment for using directional stationery. Is you've got to really watch what you're doing. Okay. This goes on this side, so that means this is up. So you want these flowers to match on both sides. All right, now we have to re-ink this. I think, yeah, okay, I'll re-ink it once I'm done. Okay, this is the up, and this is the up. All right, now let's put the lid back on, and let's do a little inking. All right, then we're gonna re-ink on the actual stationery because we need that border. It'll be a trompe-l'oeil, and that's okay. Okay. Let's see. Let's do this one. Okay. Now we're ready. The flowers are both going up on both sides. Yay. Then when you flip it, do they match? Yes, they do. So we did it correctly. All right. Now it's time to glue in the flaps. I'm using my silicone glue for this. Definitely don't want this to come up. Okay, then I just take my finger and I smoosh it all the way down, and then I hope you can see this. Then I get it under here. Like so, and then, oops, this is the, all right. All right. And then you flip it back out and just run your finger on that seam right there, and we're done. So we're going to, oops, it's been burbling. All right, let me use my finger. See, the burble got all on my stationery. I don't want that. Ugh. All right, this one for some reason decided to pop out. Irksome. I think this dust jacket's slightly smaller than usual. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop fighting it and tuck it under so that, see, that's too much. All right, let's try this. By the time I get this in, all my glue will be dried. All right. You know what? Out of all the ones I've done, this is the worst one I've had to do. Absolute worst. I don't know why I'm having such a devil of a time with it. That's because I'm filming. Yeah, I know. And then get the glue up with your handy dandy glue thing. All right, there we go. Okay, so this is where we're at. And then you put the flaps this way. And then I need 4. 2 for each flap. All right. All right, I'm going to make this one in a little bit, or otherwise it'll get attracted to this, and I don't want that. All right, now what I'm going to do is use my finger, get the glue, burbled glue off of the side of my glue container, and then I'm just going to pick this up, put the glue on the bottom. All right. And glue on the bottom. Okay, now that as far as I can take this one. We're gonna pick up where we are leaving off right here on my last one that I was doing. All right, so we're gonna set this aside to dry, and here we are. Okay, so in order to hide this, what I've been using is my pretty washi tape. Okay, and then I use my glue here, my silicone glue. Ugh. Why is everything just being, just why? All right. So it's super windy here today in Snowflake, Arizona, and if you hear a weird sound in the background, it's the wind. It's just the way it is sometimes. All right. Then I just put it over there, and then I mush out the air bubbles with my fingernail so that it dries where I want it to. All right, now I'm going to put a piece of there. And we got the burbling going on again. Ugh. And you've got to get this piece of washi tape to mold itself around the magnet. Now, I put these actually too close to the edge, but it is what it is. Okay, so what do we do here? All right, now I'm going to use, let's see, I'm using this paper. I don't have any of that paper out right now. Okay. Let's see. Here it is. So I'm going to get some more of this paper out that matches. All right. Then what I do is, I hope you can see this. Let me see if I can move this over a little bit so you can see. All right. What I do is I flip it on this side so I can see my marks. And so I keep it, I try to make it the same up and down this way, and then see that stitching, it goes this way, and then I'm going to just do on the inside of stitching, and then on the inside of this book corner. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this way first, then I'll have the length for the next measurement. All right, that way I have more scrap paper that I can use for decorating somewhere else. Okay. All right. Oh, look at that crooked cut. Oh, bloody hell. All right. Maybe it was an optical illusion. All right. Yeah, I didn't think so. Nope, not an optical illusion. I definitely didn't cut that right. Oh, well, it's just deal. All right. Then you measure for the second flap or panel. All right. Then what I do is I decide which side I want or how I want it to look. This is upside down, so that means that this should be on this side. And we'll put it this way on this side. Okay, so I'm also use the silicone glue for this step. All right, now all right, now the reason why you want this dry is because you don't want this magnet moving with the glue once you put this panel down. All right, and then you don't want to stick this panel down to the other magnet quite yet because the washi tape isn't quite dry, and you just keep on smooshing it and it will eventually dry in the shape that you want it. So we're gonna flip it that way, and then all right, see, what a pain in the neck. All right, see, the powerful magnet pulls up, this magnet pulls up this magnet if it's not glued down properly. So what will happen here is that once we get this on and glued on, it'll stay where we want it, and it'll eventually glue. Now you can also use ink on these panels if you want. I can't be bothered. I like the way I like the non-paneled sides. All right. Then you make sure that you got it in the direction that you want, and then you cover the panel. Now, by covering the panels, you are really showing if someone wants to take you to court, because I'm not covering this side of the book. Oops. I'm not covering the outside, but I am covering the inside. So if 50% of the dust jacket is covered, then you can truly say that you have the right to do it. All right. Okay. I'm going to go get one that's already done, and I'm going to use these two as measurements for the next step, which is to make the bookmark and the panel for the all right, well, we'll just use another one then. Now I use a full length, as you can see, of this particular cardstock. All right, then, okay, that's at the bottom. Then you just cut out your piece. All right, now, ouch, I still have a very sore finger. All right, and then I mark this here. All right, put this in my scrap drawer. Now, I fold this one down and I crease it here. Now, where's my bone folder? Here it is. And you want to use your bone folder to get a crisp edge here. Okay, and then I do the same thing that I did on the panels, is I take this and I ink all the way around. That way, you know, the style of everything that you put in here is similar, at least. And if you want to know what color I'm using peeled paint, archival ink. I don't use, now I have some distress inks, but I don't like using them because I use a lot of different liquid mediums, and as soon as you put liquid on distress ink, it will run. And let's face it, if you own one of my journals and you're working on it and you accidentally spill juice, milk, tea, coffee, alcohol, whatever on it, at least with archival ink, it won't, you know, run. But if I use distress ink, then it runs everywhere, and that's not good. Okay, so we're going to do the same for this one. Or wait a minute, let me look. No, we're not going to do the same for this one until after we put the, all right, let me show you. See right here, I did it on the actual cardstock. All right, so now for this one, let's see. Let's see. Oh boy. All right. All right. Put that aside. Where's my... Oh, there it is. Excuse me. I've been out in the dust and dirt flying around outside to water my mom's trees. And my throat is really sore from that. Came inside and had dust in the corner of my eyes and all other places that you really don't want dust. So I put the glue on my cardstock this time. And this time I'm going to flip this way, but I also want the decorative side. All right, there we go. Now, ooh, I use my big scissors for this because you can go longer and it's less strokes you have to do. All right. All right. Now the question I have to ask myself, ugh, get off of me, is do I want the glue or this up top like so, or do I want it like that? So I think I want it like that, so that means this is now the top. Why is this bedeviling me? All right. Now, then we'll put it here. Aha. Now, we're just going to put this on. This is as close to a junk journal as I've ever made. Oops. April. All right. All right. Got to get those measurements sorted. So that's the front and the back. Yeah, I've got glue on here. Let's see if we can get it off. Reason I got glue on here is because I got glue on this finger. My pointy finger in my right hand has glue, and I must have stuck it down accidentally. All right. Then you take your scissors and you just do one snip, and then you flip it over to get the exact identical cut on this side. All right. Then we ink some more. So this is a huge inking project. I've chosen one ink and I'm sticking with it. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to sew these, but I'm going to sew them all at once they're all completely done. Now, because I screwed up, I've got to continue that cut, April. Okay, let's try this again. All right. Okay, then I'm going to put a hole at the top of this one. And get out 3 eyelets. 1, 2, 3. All right. Okay, let me see where we're at time-wise. Okay, thank you for joining me on today's theme journal journey. I will continue doing this particular project on our next video, which will be, let's see, Thursdays. And we'll finish up this particular jacket. And then we'll go on to the next step on Sunday. All right, thank you again, and please like, share, subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already, and hit that notification bell so you know when the next theme journey is going to begin. Talk to y'all later. Bye.